Is gold an alternative investment? Yes, it is. But is it the best one? Let's dive in. Okay, so you're probably wondering, is gold an alternative investment, right? An alternative investment, that's anything outside mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. So therefore, the definition is, yes, it is. But how do we really know? How do we really know if it's the right thing? How much of it should we have in our portfolio, that kind of thing? I want to talk about that here in this video right now. Okay, so talking about gold as an alternative investment, right? Now there's different things. Be aware that sometimes what you think is an alternative investment or you think you own gold, you don't. For example, if you own stock in gold mining companies, although it's affected by gold, you do not own gold. You own a stock, right? That is mainstream, that's not alternative investments. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? Depending on the time, sometimes it's actually a good investment or it could be a good investment. However, that's not the same thing. Now, some of you might say, well, I got a gold ETF or exchange traded fund. That is also not an alternative investment. That is a paper asset. It represents the value of gold, but it's not completely 100% correlated with gold. You don't actually own the tangible thing. You own the paper that talks about the thing, right? The paper that supposedly is tied to that thing. So be aware that if you think you own gold, it's like when people say, well, I have a REIT, I have a real estate investment trust, right? REIT. I own real estate. I have real estate in my portfolio. No, you don't. You have a stock. You have a fund that's in your portfolio, not tied to real estate. It's not backed by anything. So be aware. Now, when I say not backed by anything, if somebody's gonna try to nitpick me here, yes, I know there's some perceived value behind it, but understand that they have their own prices regardless of the underlying asset. Because if somebody has a large portion of that fund in their portfolio and they dump it like a huge hedge fund, guess what? You lose money, even if the stock or the gold or whatever it's supposed to be backing it up is okay. So just know they have their own prices. So I'm talking about the tangible physical stuff, the actual gold. That is an alternative investment. That is something that you can actually have. Now, you might own it physically, maybe on premises, like in your house, like in a safe or whatever it might be. You might even own it with a company that might help you buy and sell gold, but then they store it. Maybe it's stored in a bank vault or something like that, off-site. Either way, yes, you do have an alternative investment. Now, is it the best one? And that's the real question is, why do you have it? What's the purpose of it? Some people want to get it as an inflation hedge. They say, you know what, because tends to be when the more people print money, gold tends to go up. Well, that's true sometimes, but remember, during 2020, it didn't. It didn't actually go up. It actually went down during that period of time and then eventually bottomed out. And then lately, the last few years, it kind of skyrocketed since 2024. So yeah, we've seen a big recovery now, but it's not perfectly correlated with people printing, with the government printing money. So just be aware, it can go up and it can go down. The other weakness of gold as well is that it doesn't cash flow. It doesn't create income for you. Now, some people will say, well, I know a strategy could do this or that. Okay, I get that. But for the most part, for most of us, we're not gonna make any money with it. So yes, I do agree, it could be a good inflation hedge, but I look at it more like Powell insurance, right? Jay Powell, the Fed president, if they are printing more money, cool. It can be something that can protect your money from inflation. Over time, it does go up. It does have that inflation hedge to it, but it can be manipulated. We saw this in 2010 when we had large financial institutions that actually manipulated the price of gold and got sued over it. So it can be manipulated, so be careful that, again, it's not the best thing just to rely on. It's not gonna be perfect. And I would also be aware of this too. Depending on your situation, it may not be a good fit. I've had so many clients that will have sometimes 50, 100,000 or more sitting in gold and just trying to use that as their storage vehicle. And sometimes it goes up and sometimes it just stays flat, sometimes it goes down. All in the meantime, they're suffering monthly, of their monthly income compared to their cash flow, right? Because what's happening is they're seeing, of course, money coming out because maybe they got debt, maybe they got credit card debt and things like that. But again, they don't want to pay it off because they got this gold that should be going up. But what if it doesn't? And I had to tell one client, he had 90,000 of gold. He was living in the great state of Texas. Shout out to you guys. Yeehaw. Unless you're in Dallas, you're like, that's so Houston. But anyways, you see this guy has got so much gold stored up. And I said, man, you can pay off. You don't have to cash out all your gold. You can sell some of it, pay off your credit cards, free up a couple thousand a month. That's huge relief to you in your financial situation. It's like, oh, but I don't want to get rid of gold. I don't trust the government. I'm like, neither do I. I don't trust the government either. But you know what I do trust? I do trust right now, live your life now, not tomorrow. You could actually have cash flow today. Do that. If you do that, now you can have more income coming in and you can always buy gold back. You can always buy more gold, but you can't buy that time back that you're suffering right now because you're literally paycheck to paycheck because you're just trying to store gold but not doing anything to help your cash flow situation. By the way, he finally did it, but it took him a few years to do it because he was so hung up thinking that gold was the best investment. Guys, my opinion is it's not. The truth is that when things hit the fan, gold can be great. I actually use gold, again, it's like insurance in a sense. I also use it as a way that could be a bartering part of exchange, but that's it. Like aside from like being this post-apocalyptic world or whatever it might be, right? The truth is if everybody's starving, nobody gives a crap about gold. You can't eat gold, but you can eat food. By the way, if you want a good storage, real legitimate inflation hedge, buy food storage. Buy food, because prices of food are always going up, right? But guess what? That food is actually something you can eat. You can actually use it. Gold is useless when people are starving. It's like if you ever watched the movie Dune, right? What's the commodity they all talk about? Water. They don't give a crap about gold if they don't have water, right? Same thing. Like just remember that stuff that's real is important. But again, it doesn't mean that gold's a bad investment. It just means that it's not everything. Now, if you're, again, paycheck to paycheck, don't store and hoard gold. Not worth it. Use ways to get that money out, and maybe you can use that money that you sell out of it. This is like some of you guys that are Bitcoin people too. You're doing the same thing. You can get that money out now and start creating passive income with it right now in something that might be more certain, like real estate investing or something like that. There are other alternative investments you can do. You can buy into oil and gas. You can actually get into that where you actually own the land that they pull that out of. That's also a commodity, and it helps you diversify away from just having gold and silver or something like that. So again, I still have gold. I look at gold more as something that you build up a lot more of as you get to the wealthy point of your plan, right? Once you're way past the point of being financially independent, where you have enough passive income to pay for all your expenses, then you start adding more gold and silver and things like that to add your portfolio to help you expand and grow your wealth. But while you're trying to get to that point of being financially independent, don't just hoard gold away. That's not going to do you any good if there's no month-to-month difference in your life, no cash flow. Trust me, your family will thank you for it, and honestly, your net worth and your assets and your cash flow will thank you if you do that. Again, I'm not giving investment advice. I'm not saying buy gold, sell gold, any of that stuff. I think gold is a great investment to have in your portfolio, but it's not everything. For me, it's a small percentage. It can be bigger, but again, I like to have cash flowing investments that do make a difference for me month after month after month. If you want to know what those are, subscribe to our channel here because we got plenty of other opportunities, plenty of things that teach you how you can create passive income with that money right now.